Hi, now we come to my favorite eyeshadow palettes of 2018, and the difficulty has been to limit them to 6. So in no particular order, here goes. First one, the new nude palette from Huda Beauty, reviewed here. So the reason this is on this list is not so much for the colors as it is for these gorgeous multi-reflective duochrome eyeshadows. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 of those. Not these two, they're pressed glitters. Ignore them, please. There's some kind of, mica or something. And they swatch like this. And they look like this. Stunning. This innovation is why this palette is on this list, and I would love to see another palette or more eyeshadow singles with this formula in different colors: blues, greens, purples, maroons, browns, you name it. I want to see this because this formula is stunning. So that's the first palette on the list. The second one is also from Huda. Now I promise you this is the last one from her on this list. This is the Amethyst palette, reviewed here. Now the Emerald palette is on the list of products that I dislike. So it's not, I'm not praising her blindly or anything. Not a fan of anybody, not an unfan or not a detractor of anybody either. I'm just here for the makeup. So this one really nice, Emerald really bad. This one, apart from one matte, I could use every shade. I mean, that matte needed building up. It was this one. So apart from that, I found every shade easy to work with. So I liked this palette. And it is a proper purple palette. And 2018's Pantone color of the year has been ultraviolet. And this has been the sort of palette that defined that concept for me. We haven't seen too many purple palettes, I know. Now the next one is from Revolution Beauty. It is a Now That's What I Call Makeup 1980s. And it looks like this. And the reason I like it is because it is an actual collaboration with the Now That's What I Call Music label, the Now label. Makeup Revolution or Revolution Beauty have collaborated with them. So it is a proper collaboration with Sony Music Entertainment, who own the Now Music labels. A number of people have pointed out, and it is true, that MAC had a Jeremy Scott palette, which was shaped like a music player, cassette player, and the inside was rather like an equalizer as well, but the colors are different, and the equalizer there was larger, it's smaller here, and I like that the colors are sorted into shade families, greens here, blues here, and so on. So I like this palette mostly because it is a collaboration with the Now Music label, and the Now Music label has some fond memories for me. Go check out my post to see what I'm talking about. The next one is one that you probably expected. It is the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. I really like the packaging, the inclusion of so many travel destinations from around the world. It's a nice travel palette. Large mirror, contains pretty much everything you need while traveling. Neutrals, smoky shades, purples, pops of color. Very nice, formula brilliant as ever. You can't go wrong with Urban Decay. So this is on my list for very obvious reasons. The next one is a very similar palette. It is a Tammy Makeup Revolution palette, MUR's collaboration with YouTuber Makeup by Tammy. And this is another travel palette. And Tammy, being a woman of color, she wanted a palette that would suit all skin tones, where every color could be used by women of all skin tones. And I think she's achieved just that with this palette. Now the next product is on this list for very innovative packaging and being a very fun product. Again, another Revolution Beauty product. No, this is not a sponsored post. None of these is a PR sample. So this is the product that I'm on about, or these are the products that I'm on about. What are these? These are the Revolution Beauty Easter Surprise Eggs. You can see my review here. So basically, they're these very cute Easter eggs that open up to reveal 5 eyeshadows on one side and 2 highlighters on the other. Very, very fun products there. So you have unicorn egg and mermaid egg and dragon egg and so on. This one is mermaid, obviously. And this one is the dragon egg. Warm neutrals, of course, or ruddy neutrals. As I told you, the struggle was limiting these to 6. So honorable mention, and the reason this is only an honorable mention is that it came free as a gift with purchase and was exclusively of GWP and never at any time available for purchase. This is the Revolution 1 million palette. It was launched exclusively to celebrate 1 million subscribers, followers on their Instagram, and it looks like this. I have reviewed it here. And I got 2 of them from 2 different orders from Revolution Beauty. And I gave away one to one of you. So I hope you enjoy the palette. So I realized that I've left out a number of the, big names. I've left out Lorac. The reason I did not get the 4th Pro palette was because, again, it was warm neutrals. I've left out Naked Cherry. Naked Cherry must be on everybody's favorite list. But, I'm over Naked Cherry. I'm over those ruddy hues. So this came first. This was launched first, before Naked Cherry, before Lorac 4. And, by the time I got this, I was no longer interested in Naked Cherry or any of those. And I've got enough shades that look like that. So I wasn't too keen. I want to see more fun colors, which is why a lot of this, Too Faced Gingerbread is not on this list. Too Faced had about 9 or 10 palettes this year alone, and so did Urban Decay. We've had a saturation of palettes. So I'm trying to avoid buying any palette that is remotely similar to anything that I already have in my stash. So it's been easy to avoid a lot of them this year because of the repetition and the massive influx of the oversaturation of palettes that we're seeing of late. I hope that trend is over, and I hope we're going to see different textures, different formulations, different themes, different packaging, different layouts. Melt Cosmetics has a green palette that's out recently. That is the sort of thing in different colors, of course, that I'd like to see in 2019. The next one is also an honorable mention. Partially, not because, I don't like the palette, but because, I haven't really used it properly. I've only used corners of pans. If you haven't guessed already, I showed you this palette in my makeup haul video recently. It is a Chantecaille 20th anniversary palette. And the reason I've only been very careful and using just the corners here, 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 and here, which you can see in this close-up, is that this palette looks like this. And I really don't want to mess up the design. So there used to be a gap between Urban Decay 1, Naked 2, Naked 3, Naked Smoky, and Naked Heat. But Naked Heat was last year, Naked Cherry this year. There's no gap, and you have another 9 eyeshadow palettes from the brand in the same year. So 9 to 10 eyeshadow palettes from one brand per year. There's so much saturation, so much to avoid, and I had set myself a strict limit of 8 eyeshadow palettes to buy for this year, which is why I wasn't, too keen on buying the whole lot up anyway. And even so, they were all looking too similar, same warm neutrals, maybe with 1 or 2 pops of color. And the Norvina palette was another that I avoided. It promised to be a purple. It was touted as a purple palette. There were 3 purple shades. Everything else was not purple. So they were so easy to avoid palettes this year. So these are the ones that I had to buy. The Huda for very obvious reasons, the texture, and the Amethyst for, again, very obvious reasons. Urban Decay, because it was a very comprehensive travel palette. And this one, why I bought this palette. And the Revolution, now that's what I call makeup. Again, very obvious reasons. My love of that label and the very fond memories I have of going with my dad to the record store. So 2019, I hope we have fewer palettes. I hope we have fewer warm neutral and ruddy hued and, those reddish, coppery, reddy, orangey, warm shades. I hope we have fewer of those and some variety in terms of texture. Beauty Bakery did a grand palette earlier this year, which was duochrome. I missed buying it. It went away before I could even buy it, before I found out it existed. More multi-reflective chrome shades, such as these. So I'd love to see more texture, more variation, more innovation, more foils, more duochromes and so on, and more color. And, smaller palettes, but color-specific ones, maybe with about 1 or 2 or 3 neutral and transition shades. So 2 shades tops, neutral and transition. The rest, smaller palettes maybe, but color-specific, kind of like the Huda Amethyst. But maybe, instead of 1 or 2 over here, having a paler neutral and a deeper neutral to act as transition and base. So That would be nice for 2019. So I'd love to know what your favorite eyeshadow palette has been for 2018. Please do tell me in the comments box below. I'd also love to know what your expectations are from palettes for 2019. In the event that we do disagree, let's agree to disagree. Opinions can vary, definitely. All opinions welcome. But let's keep it pleasant and respectful, please. So that's all from me for today. Thank you for watching this video. Please do give me a thumbs up and please do hit the subscribe button and the notifications button. And I'll speak to you soon.